Sometimes it's all about how you perceive things. It's a story told about a priest who picks up another priest from Africa at an airport. And as they're driving everyone through the countryside during this time of the year, the winter months, the African priest turns to the other priest and says, "Yep, it is true." And the other priest says to him, "Well, what do you mean?" "Well, you see, everyone, it's all about how you see things." Think back, everyone, to Africa, everyone, where there's heat all the time. Think about the trees and what you'd see on the trees, everyone. You'd see leaves. And yes, everyone, granted, even there, leaves drop for a period of time, but not for very long before they start to sprout, blossom, and all of a sudden we have new trees. But imagine if you came from Africa, everyone, never left Africa before, and you saw what you see now. You'd say, yes, I get it. See, what he perceived, everyone, is that why there are no leaves on our trees is because of air pollution. It's how you perceive things. See, for him, everyone, it's all about air pollution, but for you and I, it's about winter. The nature of things, which leads to spring, which leads to sprouting, which leads to blossoms, and finally, everyone, we have new leaves. It's all about how you perceive things. Let's continue our work of last week, everyone, and let's look at the story of the first coming of Jesus Christ. It's a rather remarkable story, isn't it? I'll just do a review for you today of what I mentioned last week, and then we're going to take off on some new thoughts. First of all, everyone, I mentioned to you this, when we think about the first coming of Jesus, think about your nativity scenes and how they really don't do justice to the story. If they really did justice, you have to add some animal droppings in there, and you have to add, everyone, some scent that comes from those droppings, right? Your manger, everyone, you got to take a little bit of saliva and kind of add to it, because, everyone, it was a feeding trough for animals. And imagine, everyone, what it must have felt like for Joseph. There is his, Mary, she's pregnant, she's about to get ready to give birth. And of all places, it has to happen in a stable, the most unsanitary of places that we can think. 2, the place, Bethlehem. We mentioned if we were to come up with a place for Jesus to be born, could you imagine what we'd come up with? What kind of ward it would be? How sanitary it would be? What kind of a hospital it would be? And where it would be? But Bethlehem, come on. You and I, as I mentioned last week, can't think of one famous hotel, one famous motel, or one famous convention center that comes to us from Bethlehem. A stable then, and, of course, Bethlehem. Okay? And that, everyone, of course, leads into our third thought, everyone, that I mentioned last week. And the third thought is this: the parents. A virgin birth. We take it for granted now. But like I said, imagine Mary. Mary, you're pregnant. How did this happen? Joseph? She says, no. The Holy Spirit. We take it for granted now. But come on. Back in the day, could you imagine everything that Joseph, Mary, and Jesus had to endure? Okay, the ridicule, the laughter, and the rumors. Well, everyone, let's continue that story and see if it gets any better. Genealogy. You know, everyone, when we think about our own genealogies, I think we all probably want to look back and say, you know something, my genealogy really looked good. Okay? There are no people in there that were questionable. As a matter of fact, we hope to find maybe a prince, maybe a king, everyone, or maybe some superstar. Did you notice, everyone, the gospel of today, people, names, places? We heard about John the Baptist, who his father was. Well, everyone, if you actually look at the genealogy of Jesus, it is pretty sketchy. I'll give you some examples. The genealogy of Jesus includes a person named Rahab, who was, of all things, a prostitute. Here's another one. Jacob, as his name indicated, was a cheat. Okay, David, on whose throne Christ sits, we call Jesus the Son of David, was an adulterer and a murderer whose blood-stained hands precluded his building of the temple. So much blood, everyone, he shed, that God told him, you cannot build my temple. Can't do it. Okay? And out of David's union with Bathsheba, for whom, everyone, he murdered Uriah, comes Solomon, who, in spite of his wisdom, we remember Solomon because of wisdom, listen to this, had hundreds of wives and concubines and turned his heart from God. Guys, how would you like that? Hundreds of wives. Imagine going Christmas shopping for that. Okay? Hundreds. It's sketchy. It's sketchy. Okay? And how about everyone? It's not a great lineage. How about how he came into the world? No. You know, if you really think about it, everyone, how would you announce it? You could probably be at the moon, and you'd have this great big microphone with these power speakers, and you'd say something like this, hello, world. This is God. I'm coming. Okay? This is how it really happened. The angel Gabriel, everyone, has the choir of angels working at this, everyone, proclaiming, getting ready to proclaim the whole story, getting ready the Gloria. And all of a sudden, let's just pretend this is a play. Okay? And there you are, the angels, and the curtain is pulled back, and these are the people to whom you're going to proclaim it to and to go out into the world. So imagine you are excited you are. The curtain is drawn, and guess who's there? 6 shepherds. Stinky shepherds. 6 shepherds. Now, back in the time of David, everyone, David is a shepherd. You know, they were thought highly of. But you know something? By the time Jesus came around, you know what they were known for? They liked to kind of take things. Imagine the curtain, 200 years of preparing, and all of a sudden, who do you see? Shepherds. Shepherds. And you know something? What's even more amazing is this. Not only were they good thieves, everyone, but everyone who would ever listen to a shepherd. Who would listen to a shepherd? Okay? Final thing I want to say, and I don't want you to throw stones at me, is this. Jesus was not a handsome man. Okay? Now, don't throw stones. Let me just explain this. Now, you may fight back, everyone, and you say, I think he's a very handsome man. Okay? I got a statue of him. I have a picture of Jesus. Okay? And I think he's rather handsome. That's great. But here's what Isaiah says. Let me just read Isaiah 53:2. Chapter 53:2. This is what it says. Okay? He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him. Nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. So what I say, everyone, is scripturally based. And you know something? When you think about it, Jesus could go into a crowd, he could be with them, and he could slip out without anybody really noticing. He never came in a way that intimidated everyone. Okay? Slip in, slip out, say his thing, get out. And you know something? The beauty about that is, everyone, he could be in the presence of the wealthy, he could be in the presence of the poor, and he would be at home. Isaiah. So everyone, it is a matter of perspective, isn't it? Okay? When you think about it, everyone, what I've been just trying to share with you, you look at this story and you go, whoa, you know, there's no way we could come up with this. You have to realize this is done by the genius of God. But you have to be rather skeptical. And yet, next week when we come, everyone, we're going to look at Jesus' work on earth. And we're going to see if things change there. Okay? Do we go from skeptics to all of a sudden solid believers? But like I said, we have to wait with that till next week. Okay? In the meantime, everyone, remember Advent coming. Ready yourselves for the coming of Jesus Christ.